You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drakewing Gaming. It's something about on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you with a Let's Play episode of Violet Memoir. Alright, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm changing, we're up and let's go. Alrighty. That might not be a bad idea if the nightmares keep getting worse. I hope they don't, though. Foster, however, doesn't even look over at us from his computer screen, just waving us away with a mumbling goodbye under his breath. We ended up messaging someone about us leaving, but he didn't seem too upset about it. He was just happy that I got along with everyone and backed up Baxter's offer for me to stay with them. It was a tempting idea, I have to admit, but something tells me it wouldn't really stop what's going on, as much as I want to believe it's just nightmares or I'm just stressed out. Something just doesn't feel right, and it isn't just that strange hospital nightmare. Everything just feels eerie. By the time we make it back to my apartment, the gap between Oscar and myself has steadily grown. Nothing has particularly changed, but I think the longer we're alone, the harder everything between us is to ignore. It doesn't stop him from talking a storm, mostly about Selwyn's roommates. He doesn't seem particularly interested in the Wilf discussion, even if I think there's a lot to merit what Rex and Baxter said. So, what do you think? Who do you think he's fucking? Huh? Baxter, man, that guy had all of them wrapped around his little finger. I just can't figure out which one he's doing. Wait, was there some kind of sign towards this? Come on, man, you don't think that rat is lingering around him because he's a nice guy? Ha! No way. That guy definitely has a thing for him. He did say he was wearing that choker because Baxter brought it for him. Exactly, but we can't discount Foster or Wilf either, man. They seem pretty interested too. Really? Foster? Yeah, more than Wilf than him, but that guy shouldn't interact. Well, that guy wouldn't interact with us until he was invited by him. Seems like a good sign, no? I'm not sure I'm that perceptive of a person. It's more guesswork than a science, you know? Just trying to figure it out like some kind of detective, Sherlock and Watson style. So you have no idea? I have a few hunches. You always seem to have hunches, but you never share them. I need to give people the wrong impression, right? I prefer to keep things to myself until they're important. Still feels like you know more than you're giving out. It's not that serious. I just have some theories about some things, and who knows if they're right. Don't stress about it, man. A part of me really wants to push because it's annoying having him hiding his thoughts from me, but I know that's an unreasonable thing to ask. I don't know if Oscar can tell I'm getting irritated or if he wants to just change the subject himself, but he sits on the bed before motioning for me to come over. Did you have a good day? Beat you stressing out in your room, right? Yeah, it was pretty great, actually. Everything was a nice distraction. Just a breather to remember that things aren't actually that weird. I don't know, you seem to make some weird friends. Look at me, I'm the quirkiest of them all. Are you, though? You seem pretty normal to me. Yeah, maybe a little bit, but I think Papa Bear might be the normal one. He seems to have his crap together. That's certainly true. Wish I had my life together like that. I'm caught off guard by Oscar playfully bonking the top of my head, both by the action itself, but mainly because he uses his actual hand for it. I can see him stiffen as he does it, but he doesn't have that smile. I told you, no more self-deprecating, man. Not around me, at least. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. I mean, not sorry. Ugh. I'm bad at this. It's my job to help you learn. His words are comforting, but something about them make him look nervous all of a sudden. Red peeks through his short fur easier than most, making his following laugh much cuter. It's like it's your job to help me, you know? Help with me, you know? Of course. I slide my hand over to his own, but I don't make the final movement. I give him the opportunity to claim it himself, which he does after barely any contemplation. Seems like you're making progress fast. You think this is fast? Man, you need to come see me at a competition. Then you'll truly see me fast. Very funny. Or... He shuffles a little closer to me on the bed. Not enough that we're directly touching, but enough that I can feel his immense body heat coming off him. I can show you another thing I'm good at. Let's say I'm fast. Well, not in the way that people like. Wait, what are you talking about? We both know exactly what I'm talking about. Are you sure? Last time, it didn't go particularly well. Well, I find this moment, but I think I just jumped into the deep too fast. Not that I'm not used to that, but sometimes it's a bad idea, you know? Maybe this time we should listen to your advice. He leans in close, enough that I can feel his legs tense and his hand gripping mine tighter, but also enough that his breath against my neck makes me shudder. We could go a little, slower. If you're sure, I don't want to make you feel like you have to. It's the opposite, actually. I want to. You had the right idea. I need to get more comfortable, and I want to do this. I want to be closer to you. I think it'll be a little easier this time. I know what I'm doing this time. Okay, I trust you, but promise me you'll stop if you start feeling uncomfortable. Trust me, I know when I'm at my limit. My worry is making sure you reach your limit. I think I might pass out. Not until I'm done with you. Okay, okay. I start to unbutton my shirt when his hand stops me, reaching over at a nearly frantic speed. I'm left stunned, unable to do anything but wait for his explanation. Shit, sorry, I just think you should keep those clothes on. When we're doing this, I mean, I think it'll make things easier. It will? It'll be like a physical barrier between us, make it feel less intimate, right? I'm kind of playing this by ear, but I think the intimacy of being naked in bed together was the main reason you know. How do we do this with clothes on? I've never really done much before, let alone something like this. Oh, that's the fun part. I might be doing this for actual reasons instead of kinky ones, but trust me, this can be real hot. Just imagine what being clothed implies. Doing something when we're not supposed to. Not too far from the truth, ain't it? Who knows, if this goes well, maybe I can show you the true benefits of having sex with clothes. What's that? He leans close to my ear and I have to squirm to make sure he doesn't see the tent I've pitched. His chuckle, that makes my chest clench, makes me think it was a pointless effort. It's how spontaneous it can be. Never know when I could just pull you somewhere people can't see you, and a huff of hot air against the back of my neck makes me let out a squeak, interrupting his pillow talk, though from the massive smile on his face, I think it was intentional. Yeah, don't worry. I doubt we'll do anything that far for a long time. Just let I get your blood pumping. Should we get into it then? I wish. I'm guessing you've never had to prepare before. Prepare? Oh yeah, now this might take a while. Just don't get embarrassed, okay? This is normal. I don't know how he expected me to not get embarrassed. If it was just showering to make sure I was washed up and smelling nice, that's one thing, but I just think I'd have to, clean there. He was patient and made sure I was comfortable the whole time, making sure I had privacy whenever I needed it, but that doesn't mean it wasn't the most humiliating thing I've ever done in my life. But after I figured out how to do it, it wasn't the worst thing in the world, even if it took way longer than it should have when I would have wanted. He said it would be a little faster next time, but the fact it took nearly 2 hours doesn't give me too much hope. Once we get back, I can't help but squirm a little as I walk. I've never had to clean myself back there before, and it feels weird. Oscar made some teasing comments to lighten the mood, but apologized when they didn't land. I'm just very nervous all of a sudden. It was so easy the first time, but I have a feeling we weren't doing anything too in-depth the first time. Hey, Wallace. It's always a jarring moment when Oscar addresses me directly, especially when his voice is so quiet and gentle. He takes a step forward, but doesn't fully come close enough to be comforting. Are you sure you're okay with this? You're looking a little nervous. We don't have to if you feel like this is going too fast. No. I'm okay. This is all just new territory for me, but I want to do this. I'm excited, really. Promise? I promise. Good. He starts taking off his shirt. It's slow and allows me to see those tight muscles that he's relentlessly teased me with over the last week. I'm about to ask why he's undressing when he motions for me to get on the bed, his shorts still very much on. My pants are feeling very tight all of a sudden. I follow his instructions as I lay down on the bed, bracing myself on my aims as I want him climbing behind me. He wouldn't tell me what he was doing, only that he'd stop if I wasn't comfortable. And he said it was a surprise, but something he liked to do, something he was very good at. We stay there for a moment, close but still physically disconnected. After a short time, he reaches over to my ankle but hesitates. There's no need for either of us to rush, and his trembling hand makes it clear that this is a big leap for him. I want to say comforting words, but brief glances in my direction feels like a silent signal to let him be. This was his moment to conquer. With his face flushed and his resolve strengthened, he grabs my ankle and hoists my leg up in the air. I push back down into the bed as my entire upper body is lifted into the air. My other leg flails for a moment before it's grabbed by Oscar's other hand. He holds them in a firm grip, keeping the two of them spread enough that I can catch his face, but he isn't as nervous as I expected. He's wearing that massive grin that exudes confidence. I thought the skin-to-skin contact might be too much, but then I catch that he's carefully making sure to only touch my pants. I think being able to keep this level of finesse would be difficult, but he's making it look easy, and the way he's staring down at me with those eyes, it's hard to contain my excitement, no matter how embarrassing it is. So this is the not safe for work segment, y'all. I am going to save that, and we're going to skip over that part because it's naughty, and YouTube is a little weird about naughty things sometimes. So we'll save that for the not safe for work video, y'all. Alright, let's go ahead and skip ahead. And then they had sex. The end. My body feels exhausted as Oscar helps me out of my uncomfortable position. I hadn't realized just how much my neck had started to hurt until now, and my spine wasn't doing much better. As I'm helped to my feet, having to catch myself on the bedside table as my legs tremble prove unreliable, stretching out only serves to force me to let out a painful groan as everything clicks back into place. That's how I feel after only this? I might need to do some stretches before we go any further. I'm just lucky I'm so naturally flexible. This could have been much worse. I can still feel the aftermath of everything we did covering in my fur, both mess caused by him and myself. I can't meet Oscar's eyes, but I know he wouldn't be the type to judge how I look, but it still makes me bashful. He says something, but I'm finding it a little difficult to focus as a wave of exhaustion flows through me. It isn't difficult to figure out he's bringing me to the showers again to clean up once he grabs our towels again. Despite how much contact just occurred between the two of us, Oscar looks elated and satisfied. Even though he didn't get any release or stimulation at all, I guess he really enjoyed getting me off. There's still some tension throughout his entire body, but at this point, it's hard to tell if it's that because of that that's because of his unfulfilled desires, or if that fear is starting to creep up on me. He's leaking me with his hand. It's only our hands intertwined, but after everything we've just been through, it feels simply amazing to be shown comfort. I wonder if this is what those movies meant when they said aftercare. I hope we can do more next time. The shower only serves to make me more and more drowsy. I would have passed out in here if it wasn't for Oscar's constant chatter in the stall next to me. It's obvious that he's just doing so to make sure I'm okay, and I appreciate that, but it's hard to want anything other than rest. Just cleaning myself feels like it's taking the rest of the energy I have. I can't quite tell if this is because of what we did alone, or if my body is just exhausted due to everything that's happened. But I can't help but feel relaxed. After all the stress lately and the negative thoughts that have been swarming my mind, even today, this was a wonderful break. Little shocks of pleasure I feel when I touch specific places excites me too, even if I'm well beyond being able to sate my any growing urges. By the time I'm fully cleaned, I'm leaning against the wall, barely conscious. I hadn't even realized that Oscar had stopped speaking. When did that happen? I must have finished up and went back to my room, except I don't think he'd do that. He'd been so attentive to me over this last hour, I can't imagine he'd stop right before the very end. I pushed those thoughts away, not wanting to ruin this wonderful afterglow and the upcoming sleep. Upcoming sleep that I know will be the best I've had in potentially years. As I feel the water showering over me, I can't help but feel a growing sense of uneasiness. I try to shake it off, pushing my head under the rushing water, hoping to clean away the bad thoughts. The overwhelming roar of water is all the stimuli I'm able to comprehend, and there's something familiar about the sound. It sounds like what? I slammed my hand down on the nozzle, stopping the water before I could let that thought fully form. I really didn't want to deal with that right now. Oscar? Now I'm left in an empty shower room with only the dripping of water off my fur to keep me company. That sinking feeling I've been feeling continues to rise, and I keep hearing that sound. Now that the water's off, I can hear it clearly, and that only serves to make my blood turn to ice. We're nowhere near the beach or the docks or anywhere that sound should be. Without even grabbing my towel, I shoved myself out the shower, only tripping on the curtain, but the sight only confirms my worst fears. I'm not in my apartment building anymore. I don't recognize this room, but I can tell exactly where I am. I've seen enough over the last few days to be certain. But I wasn't sleeping, right? Did I somehow fall unconscious in the shower? Am I currently sleeping against the wall? Oscar? Are you here? Nothing replies. Searching the room, I can't find my clothes anywhere, but my towel is missing as well. At least this room seems to have its own towel in it. This entire room feels like a personal bathroom you'd get in a hotel, and the embroidered logo on the towel only serves to promote that idea, but I can't make out the company. It's not that I don't recognize it anymore, but that I struggle to make out the logo at all. It doesn't look like anything I've seen, and more accurate, I can't comprehend what I'm seeing. What the? But I don't have time for answers or to figure out what's going on. My only goal right now is to figure out exactly what's going on. I tried everything I could to wake up. I dumped water on my head again, and even I pinched myself, but nothing worked. I considered clawing my arm, but I'd rather not deal with the consequences of that. Quickly drying myself so I wouldn't slip on the tiled floors, I wrapped the towel around my waist before leaving. Similar to the previous room, this one feels eerily familiar, but when I try to remember what I'd experienced in my previous dreams, it's almost like static is covering them. Nightmares have the habit of lingering in my memories, but now that I need them, they escape me. But there's one thing I remember. There's a reason I don't want to stay here too long. Something will eventually come, but what? Alright, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. And check out our YouTube memberships, too. Those are up now. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!